Alright, hi everyone, how's it going? Now, I just did a video that was an album review on Metallica's last album, Hardwired to Self-Destruct. And as I was doing that video, I got to thinking about, other things about Metallica, particularly their performance at the last Grammys. Now, there have been some people who've been talking about their performance at the last Grammys, and they've been sharing their opinions. And I want to do this video where I share my opinion on Metallica's performance at the Grammys, because I could tell you right now, I did not like it. I did not. And what I didn't like it, well, first, I didn't like how Metallica was introduced. In fact, they were not introduced. The woman presenter didn't even mention Metallica's name. She just mentioned Lady Gaga. Metallica did Moth into Flame with Lady Gaga, and I don't know, Lady Gaga's vocals just did not work for the song. I mean, they just don't, just don't think they really work with Metallica's music, and that's just my opinion. But not only that, though, but you could not even hear James Hetfield's vocals for about half the song. I mean, it was just crazy, and I just did not like that. I mean, why would you not even mention Metallica by name, It just makes you think that, there's something fishy, or just maybe it has to do with the way the Grammys view hard rock and heavy metal, because they tend to view hard rock and heavy metal as kind of like a fringe music, and yet at the same time, some of the biggest concert tours this summer are from hard rock and heavy metal bands. I mean, Maiden's touring this summer. Their concert will probably be huge. In addition to that, you have Metallica. They're playing Soldier Field. That most likely will be pretty huge. At least I think it will be. A few others. I know Alice Cooper and Deep Purple later on. I kind of anticipate that being pretty big. So, yeah, and in addition to that, I saw Black Sabbath last year at the United Center in Chicago, and that was huge. I mean, that was massive. I've never been to a bigger concert than that. So, yeah, I ultimately, feel that just the Grammys kind of see hard rock and metal as a fringe music. Now, like I said, I didn't think Lady Gaga's vocals worked, and I've never really been a fan of when these pop stars will perform with these classic hard rock and heavy metal acts. I've never really been a fan of that, because the pop star, or whoever is, the pop star of the day, they'll always kind of come out looking like a cast member from the musical Rock of Ages. It just ends up looking so cliche, and I felt that with this, I mean, okay, maybe Lady Gaga is a Metallica fan, maybe, but, I can also hear, like, I don't know, I kind of think she's more kind of like a combination. I always kind of thought of her as like a combination of like Madonna and Marilyn Manson, and maybe some Peter Gabriel thrown in there. But that's what I thought. And I guess, she has a friend that got her into, progressive rock and, metal bands. But I just didn't think the performance worked well at all. And the Grammys just don't seem to really respect hard rock and heavy metal bands, and definitely showed with this. Is Metallica is a huge band. Metallica's sold millions upon millions of albums. I mean, it took a while for them to really get going, but once the Black Album came out, then the other albums began to sell well. So they ultimately did end up selling a lot of albums and are quite a big band. But yeah, it's just kind of how the media treats hard rock and heavy metal. It's kind of, like Metallica, it's kind of like the Donald Trump of music. Yeah, it's popular among the people, but yet the media will never let you know that it's popular among the people. The media will spin it their way. I apologize to people who don't like Donald Trump on that one, but yeah, I mean, that's kind of how I feel about the whole thing. I just did not care for the performance, for how it was presented. And, they just don't seem to acknowledge hard rock and heavy metal bands. And to them, it seems like the only hard rock band that exists is Foo Fighters, with a lot of these like award shows and stuff. And they just don't acknowledge a lot of this music, which, was pretty big. It was never huge. It was never huge in the United States. It was huge in Europe, definitely was. In the United States, it had its moments. I would say it was never really that big. In the late 80s, it became big for a while, but, then it kind of, began to decline in popularity a bit, but, there still are a lot of fans that really do like the music, and, metal is still very near and dear to a lot of the fans. It's probably, I would definitely argue that it is the most enduring music of all time. I mean, and I could tell you this stuff in a hard rock or heavy metal fans album collection never gets old, never goes out of style. It just doesn't. I still listen to albums that I've listened to years and years ago. I still listen to those albums to this day. So, yeah, that's all I have to say. I probably a couple other topic ideas in this video I could probably do another video on. But, as always, if you did watch this video, I thank you for watching. Have a good night.